Alright, here's the video review for the last night leader class in Megatron. Now, I have not had a chance to mess with the Voyager yet. I have not found him anywhere. So I can't give a concrete definition or opinion on whether he's better or worse than the Voyager. But my gut says he's probably a little worse. Not that everything about him is worse than the Voyager, just that I feel like the Voyager overall is probably a little bit more sturdy figure in much the same way that Voyager Prime is better than the Leader Class Prime. Now, part of that is just visually. Like I said, I like the arm cannon on the Voyager a little better, and it just seems to be a little bit more of a solid toy. That could turn out not to be the case when I get it. I will say the one thing that the Leader Class has going for it is when he's got these little removable Cheeto thrusters. They're just clear, hollow plastic, which you can pop out of there. But this one does have a cleaner underwing design. Like the Voyager looks like it has some of the legs hiding under the wings. And so from a purely just jet design, the Leader probably is a little slicker. But it feels so cheap and hollow. Like there's no electronics or lights or anything on the Leader Class. They've done away with those. And arguably, I don't know that's necessarily a bad thing. Bad for price, value for price. But a lot of times the electronic gimmicks would, even if it was just lights, sometimes would be stuck in a position, in a way that interfered with some clean lines or how the toy functioned. It would have been nice with the fact that this fusion cannon on him is kind of bunk. I would have been a little bit more forgiving of it had it had some sort of electronic component to it, but it doesn't. We just have a sword here. We'll go ahead and take that off. You can actually use one of these as a burst from the front of the jet. The cockpit does open. We'll show that first. You can open his cockpit, and there's a little seat in there. But you push the button, and the nose cone pops apart, and you can plug this in as a fire blast. Both in jet mode and robot mode, you can extend the gun there. That's kind of neat. The gimmick itself for the gun, I'm not sure what, there's a little cutout piece here, and I'm not sure what function that serves. But you'd see the button here that unlocks the whole front end. Goes up when you push this in, but there's no catch there. And this is only held in place by some minor friction. There's no spring or any sort of mechanism to hold this up in place until you release that button. It kind of pushes it forward a little bit. And the reason for that is you'll see the catches. These are on springs to make them pop back. But the catches for them actually go in, these little pieces right here are the ones that catch. And they actually just fit into the side of this. So you clip them together, and there's a little button up here, a little tab up here that holds this together, although it can't counteract the power of the spring. So like if you're messing around with it, it's very easy to just, like if this slides forward just a little bit, the actual inside cannon, it pops right apart. You don't even have to push the button. There's no resistance and no catch. So the nose cone pops apart at the drop of a hat. It doesn't take much. You can see there. I would have liked that mechanism to be a little nicer. But, oh well. Now, if you are having trouble, sometimes this will slide forward just enough and you won't realize it to release those pieces. So you'll be sitting here trying to tab this together, and even when you tab this, it still wants, like, the tab's going right in there, and it still will eventually pop apart or split back here because it's not caught where it should be. And if you're having that problem, you just got to make sure this is pushed all the way back in. And you can access it. You can see it under here. So if it is stuck out a little bit, you can just hold this together and push it back in, and it will lock those in place. But it's a very touchy mechanism. So yeah, to transform him, we're going to go ahead and pop the whole wing parts up like this. Fold the cannon, or the thrusters, I guess, forward like this. The wings actually untab and fold. They fold up. I fold this down and then fold this around like this. And they fold into the middle. They're going to form a backpack like that. So untab this, fold that down, fold this around like this, and then this whole assembly up. And then half, and that's going to be his backpack here. So now you've got kind of this shape. This whole panel assembly, you can see, lifts up and moves forward about an inch. Untab the thrusters here. There's like a little tab that slots up here. Just tab those down and bring the leg down and around. Make sure you don't smush the soft rubber crotch plates. Bring that down and around. Fold the thruster up into there to bring out the heel of the foot. Again, fold the thruster folds up to bring out the heel of the foot. And then this little panel comes around and closes to fill in the back of the leg. And you rotate those forward. Go ahead and untab the whole chest piece here. Flip out his head. So you've got all this pieces right here. And now the arms, the cockpit comes apart right here at this panel right here, where these two gold parts are. You want to untab both of those like that. That will often want to pop apart, but bring that open and flip the arm out like this. Bring the arm down, or out and down, rotate it, push the hand out, and then close this panel here on his arm. And on this arm, rotate it down. This one's a little different. You got to take this whole assembly, flip it up, untab it, flip it up, rotate it around like that, and then fold it up and around like this, and then push the wrong way. Push the hand out, then fold it up like this, and fold this whole assembly inside the arm here. And we'll lift this up. Hold on. To the upper body. And then once this whole piece just comes up and tabs in here. And again, the cannon, you push the button to pop these up and then extend the fusion cannon, and there he is. His hips suck. His his legs are a little. He can stand on his own, but whatever. He's got these little hip skirt pieces. And he does have the cool battle mask feature. Like here he is with his battle mask, and then there's a little button right here that when you push it down, flips out his mouth and lets the horns come out to the side. So that's kind of neat. That's one of the things that I do think this guy has over his Voyager counterpart, is that you can swap the face between the two different head types. And I do kind of dig the look of the battle mask's face here with that flipped out, or flipped up. But you can see he's sliding, his hips are really loose side to side. That's something some floor polish could probably fix. And he does have, his head does swivel, thanks to a swivel there. I don't know why I said that. We'll have his horns out, and you got the face mask gimmick. His arms have front and back, side to side, bicep. He does, in fact, I thought maybe there were some covers here, but he does have these big old holes in his semi-gorilla arms. His wrists do rotate, but to have the elbow functional, then you expose this giant hole in his arm, which seems kind of a waste. So while you can keep him from having gorilla arms, the cost is a big giant gaping hole here. Otherwise, you've just got curling arms. It's less of an issue on this side, only because you've got the cannon assembly kind of filling this in, but even then you've still got this big open gap, and then you've got the cannon on the underside of his arm, which in and of itself doesn't look horrible if you rotate his fist or his wrist all the way around. But like I said, I just don't like the bulk of this. It's sleek, it looks cool, but the Voyager does a much cooler standard arm cannon look a little better, I think. So I just feel like that's too bulky for what it needs to be. Personal preference, I fully admit. And you can see just the trouble I'm having to get him to stand. I can tighten his hips, maybe tightening some screws will fix that. But yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. So like I said, I don't have the Voyager yet to compare. I haven't even done all of his articulation yet. I was getting to the arms. He has no waist swivel because of the way he transforms. The janky hips side to side, as well as front to back. These little soft rubber pieces do lift up to allow, and these move out to allow that movement. It does have a thigh swivel, hinge knee, no real ankle tilt unless you... he does have some ankle tilt there up here, so I take that back. So maybe you can get him in a little bit more solidly into some of these wider stances, provided that his hips will support him. And with the weight of that cannon, you can see he's just kind of on maybe a surface that is not as smooth as the one he's standing on. Maybe that would help alleviate this issue, but you can see how he's just, If you use that ankle tilt, he's going to want to slide out. And that's just a shame. Maybe there's a way to mitigate where the weight of that cannon sits on his feet. But, yeah. Overall, like, he's bigger than the Voyager. But, and like I said, he does have the cool battle mask gimmick. I really do like the battle mask gimmick. The closed up head versus the snarly head with the horns kind of out to the side. I like that you can swap between those. But from what I've seen, that appears to be the only real benefit of this one over the Voyager. And when I get the Voyager, maybe we'll find out. He can hold his sword. We took that off earlier. And like I said before, you can even here plug in one of these fire blasts into the front of the cannon so it can look like he's shooting some twerp or something down on the ground. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe my opinion will change, and again, fixing that hip might help, but I just feel like when I get the Voyager, it's going to be better, and your money's probably better spent on a different figure than this guy. But he does have a cleaner jet mode. Like I said, the cleaner undercarriage and the battle mask. Those are the advantages I feel like this guy has over the Voyager, but everything I've read and seen with my own eyes, at least in pictures, makes me feel like the Voyager is a much superior toy. And there is an oversized version of it, but I don't know if I want to go that big. I think I want, like I said, just a quick comparison. Here he is with the Voyager Prime. We'll show him off with the Leader Class Prime here in just a second. But I'd much rather have a solider figure that works well with this Prime than a bigger one that is the counterpart to the re-released kind of the Prime anyway. They're well matched. They're both kind of, but there you go. So like I said, a couple neat features, but I don't know if this one's really worth going out of your way to hunt down or find. But there it is, the Last Night Voyager or Leader Class Megatron.